in Canada, certainly of its time, the first guy I know that I was aware of what he had done, and I thought it was like the most incredible thing ever, was Leo Routens. For me, that's the one that I knew. I remember, we played at St. Mike's, and, there was this whole thing. Then he eventually goes to Syracuse, and I'm Jim Boeheim. I'm like, oh my, how can a kid even be on the team? Like, I just couldn't fathom that. Then he gets drafted by the 76ers, and I'm losing my mind. And now, on a regular basis, I wouldn't know what the actual number is. It's in the hundreds that are playing south of the border. But they're not just making the team anymore,
right?
As we see. And so for Steve Nash, of really British descent, okay, let's just say.
But when was he born in South Africa?
He was born in South Africa, British descent. His first sport probably was soccer.
Yeah.
He was not 6'7". There was all these things. Lives in Victoria. He goes to Santa Clara. Yeah, the NBA powerhouse, right? And so now I look back on it, he's always been, because the way he holds himself. I'm talking as a human being, some of the things he represents. So he gets up at the Hall of Fame, and so he gives his speech. Here's just a little bit of Steve Nash, property of the National Basketball Association, and I would assume ESPN. Here is Steve Nash.
I'd sent out 30 tapes to colleges around the United States. It was my dream to play Division I basketball. Nobody really liked what they saw on those tapes. But what they couldn't see on the tapes was a relentless obsession and work ethic that would never diminish for 20 plus years. I remember in high school, I went to the Las Vegas Invitational, and I thought this could be my chance to be spotted by a college coach. We didn't get many in Victoria, British Columbia, all those years ago. And we walked into the gym, and it was packed, and it was Hall of Fame coaches there. Coach K, Roy Williams, go down the line, Bobby Knight, Jason Kidd's playing in the gym. I thought, this is my chance, this is my chance. Before the little fellas from British Columbia could get on the court, they all left, so that was my chance out the window. I'll have to come another day.
I mean, look, there's a lot more to obviously that, but when you look at Steve Nash, and I talk about certain influences that for a generation that a given athlete will have. I mean, if we look at Tiger Woods, I mean, what was that impact on golf itself for those that wanted to and didn't look like the previous golfers, didn't look like what the country club looked like. And here was a guy who was maybe the best we'd ever seen. Is Steve Nash that for Canada? Because I know it's not the same south of the border when you bring up this subject.
Stephen John Nash is the most influential basketball player not named Vincent Lamar Carter in Canadian history. Now, Vince is not Canadian, but his impact on basketball in Canada cannot be understated in the least. You can't be, this is supposed to be exaggeration or over, I guess, what do we say? What's the word I'm looking for here? Overreaction Tuesday after overreaction Monday. But you can't overreact to what Steve Nash has brought to this country, not only for just Canadian kids, but for kids who look like Steve in Canada, who, well, I guess, and here we go again with the conditioning. Well, a guy like Steve, he doesn't look like he should be able to play basketball. What does that have? What does a basketball player look like at the end of the day? And Steve Nash is an example of what a basketball player looks like. Jason Kidd's also anyone could be a basketball player. But a great basketball player takes all those intangibles that doesn't matter your geography or your racial background, your religious belief, whatever the case might be. It's about the hard work. It's about taking the opportunities when they present themselves and then going beyond what you think it needs.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.